Good morning, students. Welcome back to my channel, Molecular Mysteries. So, I've been posting all the questions recently in the community tab regarding the human physiology and anatomy. Please try to answer them. So, in the previous class itself, I have covered all the important pituitary gland, endocrine glands, and all the hormones released by all the glands in the body. And also, I covered the most important topic muscular tissue, skeletal system, muscular system in our human body. Okay, so after seeing our thumbnail, this class we can talk about the brain. So brain, you can't cover the whole brain class in one session because it is such a big vast subject, and you have to go through a lot for talk about it. So before that, let's talk about, before we enter into the video, I told you this video is all about the central nervous system. So for that to happen, you should be knowing the knowledge like what are the parts of central nervous system and what are the function of each and every part, right? So you can likely be asked in all the competitive exams regarding that. So for that, let's go from the basics. So you know that nervous system is one important system which controls all the body parts along with the endocrine system, as endocrine system is also playing role in hormone release. At the same time, this nervous system would also release those impulses, and how it responds to the surrounding environment is all about the nervous tissue. So in mammals, highly developed mammals, we have two important parts of nervous system, like sorry, three important parts of nervous system. So in which I'm only discussing about the central nervous system in this class. This particular central nervous system mainly includes brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so if you go for the peripheral nervous system is all about the nerves that rise from your brain and the spinal cord. And if you go for the autonomous, you know that it is all about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Okay, now without any further delay, now let's get into the class where we only discuss about the central nervous system. Like what are the main areas of brain, where which area is responsible for your whatever intelligence, memory. Okay, let's think about it and let's talk about it. For that, let's go into the video. Okay, now in this video I'm going to give you a basic structure of brain, at the same time the functions of each and every part. So for that, you should be knowing that brain occupies the area where you know that the whole brain is covered with three important layers: pia matter, dura matter, and arachnoid membrane. If you can observe the structure here, you have, see, this is what is the cerebrum, right? This is called the cerebrum. So when I say it is about central nervous system, I'm talking about both the brain and the spinal cord. So before we enter into spinal cord, let's first talk about the brain. So if you divide that brain, we have many different parts. Now let's divide the brain into three different parts. There are forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Okay, so because you in the previous classes, in like in 8th and 9th classes, you might be studying about medulla oblongata, cerebellum, cerebrum, and all. So now you are going to enter into a neat exam where they might ask you about the functions of each and every brain part. So it's better you go in detail. The whole part of brain is mainly composed of covered with pia matter, dura matter, and arachnoid membrane. So these three layers have cerebrospinal fluid present. This is your spinal cord. Okay, so the brain is mainly covered by three different layers: pia matter, dura matter, and arachnoid membrane, and that also continues with the spinal cord as well. Okay, and this particular three layers are covered with, are having a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, which would help you to protect from shocks. So this is how it looks like. So these are the nerves that arise from your spinal cord and brain. Okay, and if you go just have a lateral section of your brain, this is what is called the cerebellum, which is located right behind, or I can say right below your cerebrum. And you have your medulla oblongata, which is continuing as your spinal cord at your back. Okay, so now in this class, let's talk about the types of parts of your brain and the functions of each part. Okay, without any confusion. So first of all, let's talk that brain is mainly divided into three parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. The forebrain is called the forebrain is called prosencephalon. The midbrain is called mesencephalon, and the hindbrain is called rhombencephalon. So these are the different I can say these are the three shapes, or I can say three parts of your main brain, so that we can further go into detail about each and every part. Okay, see, I will pause it there and I will explain it to you better, because so this is how it looks like, how the impulses have been transformed from brain to other parts, and at the same time how the stimulus is received from each and every body part. This is how it manages. Okay, so it's a network of nerves. Okay, in coming classes I will also discuss about how the neuron looks like and what are the parts of neuron. Okay, what are ganglions and all. Okay, see, this is how the spinal cord looks like. Okay, it is also covered with three important matters: pia matter, dura matter, and arachnoid membrane. Okay, you have white, gray matter and white matter also in spinal cord. So this is how it looks like. So these are the cerebral hemispheres. I will also talk in detail in the next slide. The whole brain, this is how the cerebral hemispheres you have. And see, this can't be finished in one class because they have many knowledge, many things to talk about. I don't know how far I can cover in this class. See, why I have given you the heart in, because there are some involuntary actions that happen in your body, like it could be breathing, it could be heart, or it could be heartbeat, or it could even be gut peristalsis movement, or it can be involuntary actions which are not under our will. It is done by itself, right? So these things are all are done by some part called autonomous nervous system. So autonomous nervous system is mainly of parasympathetic and sympathetic, which only includes these things. So I'm not concentrating much about that in this class. I'm only concentrating about central nervous system, because central nervous system has got many parts in it. So let's now discuss about the central nervous system. What are the olfactory lobules? What are the parts of it? Okay, and see, the forebrain I told you is also called prosencephalon, is mainly divided into three important parts: the olfactory lobes, cerebral hemisphere, and the diencephalon. So I will tell you where it is. Yeah, here I want to talk about, I told the brain is mainly covered with three important matters. Okay, and you have your cerebrospinal fluid covered to help you protect from your shocks in your life. And you have the main parts of your brain called the prosencephalon. Yeah, here I am talking about forebrain or prosencephalon, midbrain or mesencephalon, and hindbrain or prosencephalon. See, now let's, without any confusion, let's talk about, or let's discuss about it. So the forebrain is mainly again divided into the olfactory lobes. You have cerebral hemisphere and you have the diencephalon. So these are the three important parts of your forebrain. If you go for the hindbrain and midbrain, see, the midbrain immediately is being below arranged between below your forebrain. Okay, this particular cerebral hemisphere is completely masking your midbrain also. I'll also tell you that how it happens. And you have your hindbrain, which is covering the cerebellum and the medulla oblongata. Okay, this is how the parts of your brain starts with. So when you talk about forebrain, and the brain is mainly divided into the anterior part, which is called the olfactory lobes. So olfactory lobes are the present at the anterior part of your forebrain. Okay, this particular olfactory lobes are responsible for your sensation of smell. They will react with the different in the sensation of your smell. That is what you call the olfactory lobes. And you have the cerebral hemisphere. This cerebral hemisphere, you have two. You can observe from this picture itself. You have left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. Okay, the left and right cerebral hemisphere also have grooves in it. If you can observe it, they also have some grooves in it. Okay, and you also should know that this olfactory lobes has got a cavity in it, which is called the rhinocele. Okay, so the coelom is the cavity. Okay, so for each and every part you have got seal, rhinocele, diacele, metacele, everything. Okay, I'll also discuss about what are they. So when you talk about the cerebral hemisphere, two-thirds of your brain is completely occupied with the cerebral hemisphere. It is so big that it is even covering your mesencephalon called midbrain. Okay, this particular cerebral hemisphere is the land of your intelligence, memory, reasoning, and thinking. Okay, so the cerebrum, I can say the cerebral hemisphere is completely called the cerebrum, which is mainly the land of your thinking, reasoning, and intelligence, memory, I can say. Okay, so these you have two types of, like, two sides, both the lateral, I mean left side of your cerebral hemisphere and right. And you know what, for the well developed placental mammals, these cerebral hemispheres are connected with a nervous tissue called corpus callosum. It is generally present in most of your placental mammals. Okay, so for us it is of placenta, you know that, right? So it's generally mostly present in the placental mammals. And you know what, these both cerebral hemispheres are hollow in nature. Like when you do see the dorsal part, it is hollow in nature, hollow space in it, like it's a cavity called, and this cavity is called parasil. Okay, the two paraseals would enter into another one cavity called it's called the diencephalon. So diencephalon is a one important part of a forebrain. I told you forebrain is mainly divided into olfactory lobes, cerebral hemisphere, and the diencephalon. So what is the function of diencephalon? Diencephalon is the main important part of your forebrain because it contains mainly the pineal body on the roof of your diencephalon, and at the posterior part of your diencephalon, you got an infundibulum stalk to which the pituitary gland is attached. So, if you go back to my classes, I've shown you what is the pituitary gland and where is it located. So, it is generally present at the ventral part of your diencephalon with an infundibulum stalk. You have got a pituitary gland which is also called the major master gland, which controls the function of the other glands, right? So I want to tell you that the two cerebral hemispheres have got coelom in it. That is what you call the that two seals, or you call the two paracells, or I can say it's a hollow space cavity. Cavity is the best word. Okay, the cavity of the two hemispheres would enter into the cavity of diencephalon called the paracells, and this particular diencephalon has got a pineal body at the top and the pituitary gland at the bottom. So if you can observe, I told you that this particular particular cerebrum is mainly for your intelligence and all. This particular diencephalon, what I told you, is important for your involuntary muscular actions. Like it also helps in metabolic activities like protein metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism. All these metabolisms happen with the involuntary action that is done by the diencephalon. Okay, so I think you are all clear with the parts of your forebrain: olfactory lobes, cerebral hemisphere, and your diencephalon. Now, if you enter into the midbrain, so midbrain is also called the mesencephalon. So this mesencephalon has got four lobes in it. Okay, you have got four lobes in it. They are called the they are called the vision purpose. So if you see that in forebrain you have olfactory lobes, but in midbrain you have optic lobes, right, which is meant for the vision. So the midbrain consists of four lobes which are called the optic lobes. These optic lobes are helpful for your stimulus received through the vision, right? So this is called the mesencephalon. So this particular cerebral hemisphere is so large that it directly covers the whole midbrain and finally almost touches your cerebellum. So now let's talk about the hindbrain or rhomencephalon, which is mainly covering, or which mainly includes the cerebellum and medulla oblongata. This particular cerebellum is actually 6 to 8 lobed structure, which got the dorsal part and the ventral part. And you have a nervous tissue that is connecting between the left and right part of your cerebellum. Okay, and it is called the pons varoli. Okay, the left part and the right part of your cerebellum is connected with a nervous band called pons varoli. Okay, and this cerebellum doesn't have any cavity, like which is unlike with the cerebrum. Okay, all cerebellum have got cavity in it, but the cerebellum doesn't have any cavity in it. If you go for the function of your cerebellum, the cerebellum is mainly helpful for balancing. So that is why they say cerebellum is the most sensitive area of the brain. So you should not hit anywhere near the cerebellum, because it would lose your equilibrium. Body maintenance and balancing is completely disturbed when cerebellum is disturbed. Okay, and if you enter into the spinal cord, so right after your cerebellum you got the spinal cord, which is again covered with pia mater, dura mater, and arachnoid membrane. It is same like brain, like how it is covered with, it is also covered with the spinal cord. So this spinal cord is again having gray matter and white matter. So what are gray matter and white matter? So all the gray matter of your spinal cord contains the nerve cell bodies, but in white matter which is surrounding the gray matter, okay, the gray matter is at the center and is surrounded by the white matter. This particular white matter doesn't have any medullated fibers, doesn't have any medullated nervous fibers like the white matter, but gray matter is different. So I told you forebrain is composed of olfactory lobes, cerebral hemisphere, and diencephalon. For each and every function, I will also attach the important links in the description. Okay, for your easy understanding, how many lobes are there? What are the cavities present in them? Okay, paracele, diacele, metacele, okay, rhombocele, everything. How it is present, I will let you know in the description box. So I told you the olfactory lobes that are present in the anterior part of your forebrain is meant for your sensation of your smell. See how beautifully they have given you the picture of these are the olfactory lobes I told you that represent the anterior part of your forebrain. Okay, and this is your midbrain. See, cerebral hemisphere. There are two different hemispheres, left and right, covered with a nervous tissue called corpus callosum. Okay, and let's talk about, yeah, this is the midbrain I want to talk. The midbrain I told you there are four solid optic lobes, and they are called crura cerebri, or you can say corpus quadragemini also. Corpus quadragemini is also the other name for your optic lobes that represent four in your midbrain. Okay, and also let's see what are the functions of this particular parts, your hindbrain. Say I told you cerebellum and medulla oblongata will be coming under the hindbrain. So cerebellum is present right behind your cerebral hemisphere. It's complete, almost covered with your cerebral hemisphere, and you have medulla oblongata. So this is how the spinal cord looks like. In the next class, I will also discuss about what is gray matter, what is how it is being surrounded by a butterfly shaped matter. Okay, and you know that the cerebral spinal fluid would protect the same way the spinal cord is also helpful in passaging the information, okay, from impulses. It could be called the impulses from to and fro to the brain. So see you in the next class with an interesting topic. Like, see, in this class we have covered about the central nervous system. In the next class we'll talk about the peripheral nervous system because it has got many important nerves. I will give you a chat for it. Okay, I'll give you a chat from where it's been originated and where it is been uh, supplied to. So how the impulses are coming from the brain to the particular organ. It could be vagus nerve, it could be trigeminal nerve, all the types of nerves that are coming out from the brain, or all the nerves that are coming out from the spinal cord would come under the peripheral nervous system. Let's discuss that in the next class. Okay, so hope you are understanding my class. I'll also link everything in the description, so please let me know if you have any doubt. Thank you and have a nice day.